Good evening, everybody, and welcome to my review of TNA Lockdown 2011. Um, I'll tell you right off the bat, I don't know what to say about this pay-per-view because it wasn't over-the-top outstanding, 5-star pay-per-view of the year, but it wasn't horrible. It wasn't nearly as horrible as most people are accusing TNA of being recently. It was incredibly average. And by that I mean, like I say, it wasn't any 5-star classic, but I don't mind that I paid for it. If that makes any sense at all, although I'm sure most of you will disagree at this point, and you're free to do so, but that's the end result of what I want to say about the show. It ended about 6 minutes ago, so want to do this now while everything is fresh. Very dry in the mouth throat region today, so I don't know. So I'm going to be taking a break to take a drink a lot, although I hope this won't take too long. We started off with the X Division Xscape match, and like I said on my preview video, I actually had to go online and look up what the actual rules of the Xscape match are, because they didn't spend a whole lot of time amping it up on Impact. But basically the idea is all the X Division stars go in the ring at once and pin or submit each other until there's 2 left, and then the last 2 win by escaping the cage, which is a fairly decent premise, and it's a fairly decent way to put the focus on the X Division guys, because with all the Immortal and all that bullshit going on, the X Division has really fallen by the wayside. And it's a good way to put the focus on the X Division because TNA made the same mistake with this pay-per-view that WWE made at WrestleMania. They have a big, huge 4-on-4 match. In WrestleMania's case, it was the Core versus who the hell did they fight? A bunch of people that nobody really gave a shit about. And because of that, the tag team champions, being Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel, did not defend their titles, and Wade Barrett did not defend his newly won Intercontinental title. Instead, the whole team fought a bunch of people that nobody really gave a shit about. In this case, you had Lethal Lockdown, which I'll talk about later, which was Fortune, who is awesome, taking on a team that is less than so, and in doing so, Kaz didn't defend his title, etc., etc. Yeah, so, anyways, while I'm rambling on like an idiot, this is an awesome way to put the X Division guys on display. So, all you wrestling purists, no, this was not a technical wrestling classic. No, this was not a mat grappling psychology seminar. It was a spot fest, for sure, but it was a good one. So, get over it, or skip to the next match. Okay, so we start off, Robbie and Suicide do some fairly basic brawling, while Max avoids his brother Jeremy. Okay, I have to stop right now. Continuity. We talk about continuity, or a lot of us talk about continuity with storylines and such like that. I don't like the breaking up of tag teams. They do it way too much in TNA, they do it way too much in WWE. But if you're going to break it up, add some continuity to it. They had Max and Jeremy Buck come out in completely different attire. Anybody who's seen the Bucks fight, they always come out in like matching, either purple tights or like black tights or whatever. They always come out in matching shit. They did not come out in matching attire tonight, which is, I guess, supposed to be symbolic of the fact that they're having troubles and miscommunications. But they still came out together into the same music. So go one way, go the other way. I don't know. Little tiny things, but it was enough to make me want to say something here. Anyways, while Robbie E and Suicide brawl, Max avoids Jeremy Buck at all costs. Jeremy Buck and Lethal go at it for a bit. Robbie E hits what I can only call a foot stunner on Suicide and eliminates Suicide. Sabin and Lethal have some amazing back and forth. It's awesome to see Lethal again. We haven't seen him in a while. A flip powerbomb by Amazing Red eliminates Jay Lethal. A Michinoku driver and a very nice clothesline by Sabin eliminates Amazing Red. Sabin hits the hesitation dropkick on Max. Max hits a springboard neckbreaker on Sabin and eliminates Sabin. Max Buck hits a nice moonsault on Kendrick, except for the fact that it's blocked. Everything until the impact is nice. The block and the fall itself are actually kind of meh. The Buck brothers finally fight for a little bit. Max eats a bit of fence quite nicely, but eventually turns it around and Jeremy Buck is eliminated. Max and Robbie E double team Kendrick for a good long time. Kendrick eliminates Robbie E. Not gonna lie, I missed how he did it. I must have blinked. Max hits a very dirty, almost botched looking turnbuckle powerbomb to Kendrick, brawling on the turnbuckle. Kendrick climbs the cage. Max hops down, grabs the ref, tosses the ref into the cage, which apparently knocks Kendrick back into the cage. I don't really know how that works, but he's recovering from his fall, and from his fall, I don't know what recovering from his fall would be, so excuse me on that one. While he's recovering from his fall, Max climbs up the other side and gets the match. Now this means Max Buck is the #1 contender for the X Division title. My question now is he going to finish off his rivalry with his brother before he goes to take on Kaz, or are they just going to let that drop? Because if they just let that drop, they could have left them as a good, solid tag team, and his brother could have helped him win the X Division title, gotten some amazing heel heat, but no. I don't know. It's very, very unclear. Like I said, for the type of match it is, for the spot fest it is, some of the spots were nice. Some of the spots, like, these guys do more than the high flyers in the WWE do, and therefore when they botch or when they hit something not quite perfectly, it looks kind of dirty. And you're always, you want to suspend your disbelief and be like, they're fine, they're whatever. But there's always that little spot in your brain that says, hey, did he actually get hurt on that? Anyways. Bischoff comes out and talks shit for 5 minutes. Literally. You sat there and you heard what he had to say. I'm part of Immortal, and it's great to be here tonight to be part of Immortal, because Immortal's going to have a great night. And it was that incoherent for about 5 minutes. The 4-way tag team match. Of course, we have an interview with Crimson and Steiner before the match, where Steiner sounds drunk as usual. Orlando Jordan and Eric Young come out to the ring, and Orlando Jordan's in some weird, awkward-looking little Tarzan outfit, which is awkward. When the match starts, Eric Young, who's confused as always, tries to escape the cage, and that's not how you win this match. Eric Young and Jesse Neal lock up. Jesse Neal overpowers Eric Young. They go back and forth for quite a while, and the crowd heats up for this, for Jesse Neal and Eric Young locking up. I don't get it, but obviously they're excited and whatever. Shannon tags in, and a nice head scissor and an armbar on Young. Williams and Jordan are both tagged in. The Brits double team Orlando Jordan for quite a while. Jordan fights back and tags in Neal. Magnus hits a nice clothesline on Jesse Neal. Double team on Neal by the British Invasion for quite a while, including a nice double team necktie neckbreaker. Pin is broken up by Shannon, and through all of this, there's a "We Want Steiner" chant, because Steiner and Crimson haven't done anything yet. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Magnus gets an elbow. Magnus hits an elbow and gets a near fall. Neal tags in Crimson. Finally, powerful headlock and a neckbreaker. Magnus and Crimson double team clothesline. Steiner tags in and destroys the British Invasion for a while. Steiner puts on a suplex clinic, and Shannon sneaks in to put a little bit of a beatdown on Williams, including a very, very, very nice Shannon Moore moonsault. Orlando Jordan is speared by Neal. A top rope drop kick from Eric Young to Steiner, and EY escapes the cage, which means his partner has no help anymore, because he's an idiot like that. In all the melee, Moore hits the Morgasm for a win. Nice. The match was mostly Inc. and the British Invasion, as I thought it would be. The other teams really did not need to be there. Steiner doesn't add anything to a match anymore, and Eric Young and Orlando Jordan are there for comical value. You could have done without Inc. and British Invasion. For your efforts, I applaud you. Next, the knockout match, title match, hair versus hair, women's match in the cage. Now, I said in the preview video that I hope against hope going into TNA pay-per-views. I hoped against hope that a knockout match on a TNA pay-per-view would be decent, but I had a good reason. I did, I swear to you. A while ago on Impact, they let a women's cage match be the main event on Impact when it was Tara versus Mickie James. And that was a good match. That deserved to be the main event of the night. I don't care what you want to say about the knockouts. I don't care what you want to say about TNA or the direction of women's wrestling in general. That match, that one match, deserved to be the main event that night. And I was hoping, against hope again, that something like that, they would pull something like that out of their asses again tonight. They did not. They did their little video package, they did their little tail of the tape, and Taz had his quote of the night where he said, "Forget about that tail of the tape, here's my tail of the tape. Both these chicks are freaking hot." Yes. I love Taz on commentary. We miss him in WWE. Madison Rayne spent a good long time coming to the ring, taking off one glove, taking off the other glove, trying to be all faux classy and shit. Gets into the ring. The referee tries to help her off with her tiara, and she yells at him and smacks him away. Finally takes off her tiara. The bell rings, she eats Cage 3 times, and a DDT, gets pinned, and Mickie James is the women's champion. So Mickie James is now the female Sting of WWE. So that's great. I mean, am I glad that Mickie James is the champion because I'm still a mark for Mickie James? Absolutely, but their entrances lasted longer than the match. So all you TNA haters out there, on this one I got nothing. I really don't. Pope versus Joe. Are we getting sick of this story yet? If we just put them in the ring and let them fight, that would be fine. But we have to tack on this stupid ass storyline, do we not? Anyways, Pope owns Joe in the corner. Joe fights out with shots to the head. Joe takes Pope to the corner with shots, a splash and a round kick for Pope in the corner. Joe chops down Pope over and over and over again. Pope comes back and they brawl through the and they both throw hands for a while, fighting on the ropes till Pope gets crotched and catches another sweet high kick from Joe. Back in the corner, Joe stomping Pope's face repeatedly. Pope takes Joe down and mounts Joe with a repeated barrage of sort of crossface shots that was a spot that almost went on too long, because it's like, okay, you take that many shots to the head and neck, you're going to be freaking paralyzed or something. No, Joe's got a thick neck and he could probably take more than other people, but reality needs to sit in there sometime. A nice uppercut by Pope, and Pope locks on a sleeper on Joe, because we love the sleeper, do we not? A sweep and a clothesline to Joe. Joe comes back with a snap slam, which always looks good when Joe does it. Always. I've never seen him pull off when he's coming at you, and literally you go from running at him to being snapped over him and onto the ground. I've never seen it not look good when Joe does it. Awesome. They get into this bit of a slap fest after that, which is a little less than macho, but a drop, a big boot, and a backsplash by Joe is countered by, leads to a big leg lariat by Joe, a muscle buster, and Pope's foot on the rope, breaking the count. Because, yeah, big ass muscle buster pin attempt gets broken up by a foot on the rope. That's anticlimactic, is it not? Pope tries to escape. Joe goes after him, tries to grab him down from the turnbuckle, and we get the Pope full moon. And it would be fine. It would be like the old ladder matches with Shawn Michaels where we always saw his ass at some point. But they kind of linger on it for like a minute. It was like, they pulled down his pants and then Joe tried to go up and suplex him, and it was almost as if he thought, no, I'm not going to put my face that close to that guy's ass. So there was an awkward little pause in the match where even the announcers didn't really sound like they knew what they wanted to say there. Joe powerbombs him against the steel, hits another muscle buster, locks in the Takeda clutch, and Joe wins the match. Happy with this, happy with the result, etc., etc., etc. Good match overall. Could have done without seeing the Pope's ass. I'm gonna say that. Okay. Hernandez and Morgan. We have another Hernandez anti-American bullshit promo, and a lot of typical big man brawling shit to start. At one point, Morgan is in the corner, and there are big ass camera holes cut in the TNA cage, which, you know, I don't know sometimes. But anyways, Morgan's in the corner. Anarchia grabs his boot through the thing, and this gives Supermax the advantage from here on in. Supermax chokes out Morgan against the ropes. Morgan is chopped between the ropes and the steel, back inside, and Supermax puts a nerve hold on Matt Morgan. I guess this is his equivalent of putting on a sleeper, because it didn't look like anything special. Morgan fights back with an amazing crossbody. Max chokes out Morgan on the mat. Morgan eats... sorry. I've lost my place, if you'll excuse me for a second. Hernandez chokes out Morgan on the mat. Morgan eats the steel once again. Hernandez shoulder tackles Morgan to the ground. And when Hernandez does a shoulder tackle, he doesn't really run at you. He just kind of, like, runs into you, and then whoever he's facing explodes back. Like, it doesn't... I don't get it. It looks funny, and as much as I hate to say it, even the way that John Cena does a shoulder tackle is better than the way Mr. Supermex does it. Morgan gets choked out in the corner. Hernandez hits him with a corner spear. Morgan comes back with a clothesline. Morgan headbutt and 3 clotheslines. Supermex eats the steel 3 times and a back suplex by Morgan. Hernandez gets a spear on Morgan, but eats the steel once again as Mexican America tries to distract. Hernandez eats the steel some more, and a freaking carbon footprint for the win. I'm kind of stumbling on this match because I want to find something good to say about it. I don't like big guy matches. There were a couple spots in here that you could tell that they really, really tried to make look good, but it just looks like 2 tall, awkward guys fighting, and there wasn't much special. When I was actually watching the match, I said, you know, it's an okay match, and there are some nice spots. But on second thought, it would be like watching the Kane and Great Khali rivalry renew itself. Which, you know, after the match, you know, Hernandez is all pissed off. Him and Anarchia leave. Sarita and Rosita stay, talk some more shit. Velvet comes in, kicks the shit out of both of them, kicks them out of the cage, takes a little bow for herself, and leaves. I was really hoping she was going to call out Angelina, but that did not happen. They did not reference the beautiful people, you know, Angelina, Velvet Sky, Winter thing at all on the show, which is odd, considering how psycho they're trying to make Winter sound. I figured they would put her in a cage match, but they didn't. You know, as Taz would say, we did not set the pigeons loose tonight, which is unfortunate for any of us guys out there with working junk. Anyways, Jeff Jarrett, Kurt Angle in the Ultra Male match. They stole the 3 Stages of Hell match from WWE. That's fine, I don't mind. They've stolen other things from WWE, but why'd they have to give it a stupid name like that? The Ultra Male match. Basically, it was a best of 3 falls match. First fall had to be won by submission, second one by pin, third one by escape if necessary. Referee ejects Karen Angle right at the beginning, which I love. Angle starts off with a tight headlock and a tight takedown. Jeff Jarrett shoots Angle into the corner. Angle gets a snap suplex and a hip lock takedown on Jarrett. Jarrett tries for the figure 4, and oh dear. The ref is silly here, isn't he? While Angle's trying to fight out of the figure 4, he has to keep rolling around because the dumbass referee is counting his shoulders in a submission situation. Yes, TNA's awesome. I stick up for them 100%. Yay! I'm an idiot, I guess. Angle throwing suplex and ankle lock on Jeff. Jeff locks in a sleeper, which then he turns into a rolling sleeper, which is a little better than just sitting there in a boring sleeper, but yes, Angle counters it into an ankle lock. Angle eats the post with his shoulder. Jeff applies an armbar. Armbar is eventually countered back into an ankle lock, and Jeff taps out. There is your first fall. Angle eats some more steel. Jarrett tries for gets a stroke and a near fall. Jeff hits a top rope crossbody on Angle. Angle rolls through into a near fall of his own. Double clothesline, both men down. Angle hits a belly-to-belly overhead on Jeff. Angle eats some more steel. Angle hits 2 German suplexes, in which Jeff counters with a low blow. The stroke is countered, and Jeff eats steel, and Angle hits him with an angle slam. Angle then goes for his top rope, you know, put somebody up on the top rope, run up the ropes, and throw him off, but botches it hard. The whole time that little botch scene is going on, there is a sloppy seconds chant going on during this match, which is directed at Karen Angle, which is amazing. She's not there, So it doesn't make any sense. But it's still awesome because it's incredibly rude and it makes me smile. And then Angle hits Jarrett with a stunner. I marked out for that on its own. Anything else, any other minor problems or botches that were in the beginning that have happened in the match so far are wiped off the slate, and the slate is wiped clean by the fact that Angle hits Jarrett with a stunner. Angle Slam is countered into a roll-up with the tights by Jeff, so that Jeff wins pinfall number 2. Jeff Jarrett slingshots Angle, and Angle eats the cage some more. Angle hits 5 German suplexes on Jarrett. Angle is at the door, has the big dramatic, am I going to leave? Am I going to win the match? No. I'm going to go back into the cage. I'm going to lock the door. I'm going to stick the key in my tights, because, you know, that's not awkward at all. Jeff eats the steel. They're fighting at the top rope once again. There's a very, very bad top rope powerbomb botch. They're both on the top turnbuckle, and Angle's holding on to the top of the cage. Jeff Jarrett goes to powerbomb him, but he almost, when Angle falls, he falls under him, flat on his face, and Jeff Jarrett does his best to not land on the back of his neck. So I'm thinking, okay, that was a fuck up, and they're going to stop the match. But no, Angle pops back up like nothing happened, chases Jarrett to the top rope for a top rope Angle Slam. Angle climbing out of the cage is now blocked by Gunner from Immortal. And this is where you know TNA thought, hey, this match is way too good, we need to fuck it up. They throw in Gunner running around the cage with a chair so Angle can't leave. So instead, Angle hits an amazing back moonsault from the top of the cage onto Jeff. From the camera angle, you can't tell if it actually hits Jeff or not, but it doesn't really matter. Out of nowhere, Scott Steiner comes out and chases away Gunner, which I guess, if they want to explain this later on, is a throwback to Angle and Steiner being together in the Main Event Mafia. I can kind of deal with that. So after the impact of the moonsault and after Gunner being chased away, Angle finally finds the key again and goes to go out the front door of the cage when Karen comes in and sprays him in the eyes with something. And Jeff tries to get out of the cage. Angle puts him in the ankle lock, pulls him back into the cage. This happens twice. Jeff hits him with a guitar that Karen hands him, and Karen tries to pull him out of the cage, but Jeff is put back into the ankle lock again, and Karen and Kurt have a tug of war with Jeff, which is, again, really, really awkward. Karen slams the door on Angle's head, Jeff falls out and wins the match. Why? And if everything up until... Okay, there was a couple questionable things, but everything up until Gunner coming in was a great match. Why did Gunner have to come out? Why did Steiner have to come out? Why did Karen have to come out? Bullshit. The last 5 minutes of this match was horrible. The rest was great. It was. Angle pulled off some awesome stuff. If the powerbomb was a botch, it was a horrible one, and it probably fucked him up hard, and he still got up and kept going. So, I haven't lost any respect for either of these guys. They put on a great match until TNA stepped in and fucked it up. Let's just say that. Okay. We go to the TNA title triple threat match, where RVD and Sting ping-pong Anderson around for a while after Anderson comes in and talks a bunch of shit. RVD gives Anderson a kick where Sting splashes him in the corner. RVD and Sting then brawl into the corner. Standing moonsault on Sting by... Well, I think that should say RVD. Standing moonsault to Sting by RVD. Scorpion lock on Anderson and RVD. Okay. Now, again with the stealing stuff from WWE, we all saw a while ago when Natalya Neidhart won the women's title by putting both members of Le Cool, I believe, in the sharpshooter, which is basically the Scorpion Deathlock. But Sting did it to Anderson and RVD, who are quite a lot bigger than Le Cool, so it didn't work. Each of them only had one leg locked up. It just looked really bad and whatever. They all get back up. Sting and RVD try to rebound off the ropes and do whatever they were going to do. They crack heads. Anderson goes for a near fall on one, doesn't work. Goes for a near fall on the other one, and doesn't work. Anderson hits a sweet-looking neckbreaker on RVD and hits a double mic check on RVD, and Sting near falls on both once again. RVD with a springboard kick and a 5-star frog splash on Anderson. Sting and RVD brawl some more. Anderson clothesline. Okay, here's the best spot in this whole match. Sting's got RVD set up for the Scorpion Death Drop. Anderson comes and clotheslines both of them. But Anderson doesn't get hit with anything, so I don't know why Anderson stays down. Hogan comes out with a pipe in his hand, hands it to RVD and says, "Hey, this is for you. You should batter them. You should beat them, whatever." RVD takes it, thinks about it, throws it back at Hogan. In the meantime, Anderson picks up the pipe, smacks RVD with it, not knowing that Sting is right behind him, waiting with a Scorpion Death Drop, and wins the match. Nobody in this match was focused on the belt, or on the championship at all. RVD was too worried about the proposal from Hogan. Anderson was busy thinking about how he was going to piss off Hogan, and Sting was worried about his rivalry with Hogan. So the match was pointless. Like I said, there were some decent, like the triple clothesline into a Scorpion Death Drop into a something else little spot at the end was nice. The double mic check was decent. The double Scorpion Deathlock looked like shit. This show could have done without this match, and it's kind of fucked how Hogan keeps trying to have a way with who's the champion, and it's got to come from, with Hardy being out, there's nobody else in his little Immortal faction that he can put the belt on, so it's not like, hey, Immortal has the belt back because we put it on so-and-so, or else they try to put it on like Bubba Dudley or Matt Hardy, and that would just be sad. Okay, losing my place, losing my papers again, etc., etc., etc. The match was pointless, really, and I don't know how all three of these guys aren't pissed off that their efforts in this match are being used to basically forward Hogan and a rivalry with Hogan. It's about as good as continuing the Michael Cole story. Okay, Lethal Lockdown. And my prediction going into this, if anybody watched my preview video, was that this was going to be shit because you have a bunch of awesome guys in Fortune going up a bunch of guys that are losing their luster a bit in Flair and Matt Hardy and Bubba and Abyss. So they came out, they were all announced, both teams were announced. My first comment of the night was, thank God Ric Flair is not still wearing tights, which is awesome. Anyways, for anybody that doesn't know how the Lethal Lockdown works, both teams are announced, both teams come to ringside. They each put in one guy, and at timed intervals, one team gets to stick in another guy and stick in another guy. And when all 8 guys are in, they bring the lid down, and the lid's got all kinds of weapons in it. And after that, it's one pin or one submission to win the match. It's a decent little match concept. TNA has great match concepts. They just don't always come to fruition. Like the King of the Mountain match. If they tried to do a King of the Mountain match or anything similar to that in the WWE, I guess the closest thing would be Money in the Bank. But anyways, I digress, do I not? Alright. Kaz and Abyss start us out. Kaz counters a chokeslam, but eats Abyss's boot. Kaz gets owned in the corner. Kaz gets a very nice top rope head scissors on the big man. Kaz chops Abyss between the ropes and the cage until Matt Hardy comes in. Kaz quickly takes out Matt. Matt locks on the ice pick submission, which is that dirty little double arm underhook choke body scissor combination thing that basically locks your whole body up and you can't do a fucking thing. I like it. I wish it was being applied by somebody better than Matt Hardy, because Matt Hardy is, as I say, losing a lot of luster. With Kaz locked in the ice pick, Abyss just sits there and stomps him while he's stuck in the hold, which is always good. Christopher Daniels comes in at his appropriate time and cleans house, including a BME to Abyss and a top rope double knees to Matt Hardy. Top rope double knee. I don't know what it's called. I've seen Evan Bourne do it before too, and it's actually one of my moves in one of my video games. It's where the guy's standing and you jump off the ropes, knees first into his chest, and basically follow him as he falls. Anybody who knows what that's called, toss it in the box. Double team a lot of double team impact moves on Matt Hardy to a "We Want Flair" chant from the crowd, because this crowd in Cincinnati makes a lot of sense, don't they? Alright, Ric Flair enters the match, I guess, answering their chants. Chomps and stomps for all. Matt Hardy hits a decent-looking bulldog to Daniels. Immortal is basically standing over everybody because everybody that's in Fortune that's in the matches are down. James Storm enters the match and hits with a sweet beer bottle shot to Ric Flair. And then starts ripping at his face with the broken pieces of glass, which is always good, but it means it starts ripping his clothes apart. We don't need to see a partially naked Ric Flair. And then he grabs Flair's pants and smacks his bare ass, and it's just like, why did you do that? And awkward. Alright, Bully Ray comes in, cleans house once again, and the match sort of breaks into some very, very generic gang-style brawling type stuff. Rude enters, gets a big boot and a neckbreaker on Abyss. Rude and Flair have a bit of a chop fest for a while. Beer Money hits a double suplex on Bubba Ray. The cage top finally comes down, and it's weapon shots aplenty from from Fortune to Immortal. And I like how this was a little spot when they brought the roof down that I liked, and it showed a lot of sense. When the lid came down, the first thing that happened was all the guys from Fortune, who are all the original TNA guys, showed their experience in a match like this by hopping up onto whatever they could, onto the side of the cage, onto the turnbuckles, to get as high as they could to be the first ones to get the weapons. The idea being that these guys are all the veterans of TNA and all the rest of the guys are outsiders that have come in, and this is them showing their experience. It's a little thing that made a lot of sense and it made me smile. Fortune have most of the weapons, weapon shots aplenty for Immortal. Abyss is put through the cage door to the outside, and the fight obviously spills outside after that. Matt Hardy and Daniels climb to the top of the cage and brawl on the roof. Hardy backdrops Daniels, which almost fucks up Hardy because he almost goes off the side of the cage. Twist of Fate on the roof, and inside the cage, Beer Money put a beat down on Flair. Bully Ray hits what amounts to a rock bottom on Kaz, and Flair hits a kendo stick on Storm. Rude hits a double R spinebuster on Flair. Daniels hits a crossbody from the roof of the cage onto Hardy and Abyss in the entranceway. Rude locks a figure four on Flair. Bully Ray breaks it up with a nice kendo stick shot. After that, Bully Ray and Ric Flair wear out all the members of of Fortune, including Daniels, who makes his way back into the ring, with kendo sticks for a good long time, until AJ Styles' music plays. He comes in, he takes out Bully Ray with a very nice Pele. They have a 5-on-1 beatdown on Ric Flair, and Ric Flair submits to Robert Roode to a very simple armbar. I love the match. I loved this match. All the spots were there. The tough guy spots were there from the guys like Abyss, Bubba Ray. The comedy came from Ric Flair. You knew that was going to happen. The great athleticism came from Beer Money. The high-flying stuff and the sort of the spot-type stuff came from Kaz and Styles and Daniels. Everybody contributed to this match what they were supposed to, and Ric Flair's team, to their credit, performed better in this match than I thought they would. It's definitely obvious. The Ric Flair team of Flair, Abyss, Hardy, and Bubba Ray, they showed their inexperience because you could tell where they were a bit awkward. They were just, finding their legs, getting used to the match situation, and you could tell that the guys from Fortune, all 5 of them, I guess you could say, were showing their comfort in the match, and it shone through, and it was quite obvious. But that being said, they still did a good job with it. This is the match that made me not regret buying the show. This and the X Division Escape match at the beginning, and the tag team match for the 2 tag teams that contributed well to it, were the greatest matches of the night. The 1 Minute Divas match, it was 1 minute, but a lot of people don't care about the Divas divisions anyway, so I guess those people are happy that it didn't take up much more time. Angle and Jarrett had an awesome match that had a shit-tastic ending, and that's not because of them, that's because of the booking, so I will give them credit as well. On the whole, if I was going to rate the pay-per-view, which I usually don't, I'd probably give it about a 6 out of 10. And 6 out of 10 comes from comes just from those 3 matches. The world title match didn't do a thing for me, and that doesn't say much for the company, does it? Anyways, not much else I want to say. I've rambled on long enough. I've been Spaz. Subscribe up there, talk down there, let me know what you think. Don't be a stranger, and I will talk to you later.